Hi everyone, I'm Sloan from SloanBella.com and I'm back with another channeled celebrity video. This one is on the fashion and purse handbag designer Kate Spade, a very requested video from you guys. So I started to ask Kate to come through to me. I kind of do it as I'm doing my day-to-day work. When I know I'm going to do a video, when I decide on somebody, I feel like it's time to do it. So I started asking her to come through, and I didn't really expect her to come through necessarily, since apparently she's all over everywhere being channeled. But I did get a quick visual out of the corner of my eye as I was doing my laundry last night. And it was the visual of Kate, and I could see her legs, and she'd hopped up on a kitchen counter, not mine, hers, because it was a different color than mine. And she'd hopped up on the kitchen counter, and I could see her, and she was dressed like she was normally dressed. I could see her feet swinging, the right leg crossed over the left. I could see her heels, and I could see her smoking a cigarette, which I found kind of odd because I don't think she was a smoker. Now, she was busily smoking and tapping her feet, which I feel is how she was leading me into the day that she passed away. This is what she was doing. So I do feel that Kate was some kind of a closet cigarette smoker. I don't know how closet you can be with the smell of cigarette smoke, but that's what I got. She popped up in my head smoking a cigarette. So I'm watching her, and she's waiting for something on that day. So I feel like she's waiting, and this is probably actually the day before they found her, but leading up to the day that she passed. The 24 hours before she passed, I'm feeling that she's sitting on this counter. There's nobody around her at that time, and I feel like she's like nervous and pensive. That's how I feel about it. So when I'm feeling that energy, I'm trying to absorb it, and I'm asking her what happened. Now, I'm getting a lot of energy around the situation, so let me just go to that first. I'm not even going to answer what I feel happened at this point. I'm going to go around the energy of her. I get several things kind of crashing in on her for about a year and a half before she passed. These are emotional things that crashed in on her. I can tell you she was not on anything when she passed. She was not actually drinking. Immediately when I heard the news story, I was not necessarily a fan of Kate Spade. I did know who she was through the handbags. Kids, I had boys, so we weren't buying handbags at that time, but the kids' girlfriends, they would mention Kate Spade. So I was familiar with the brand. I wasn't a huge follower of the brand. It wasn't something it wasn't my style. More rock and roll, let's say that. But I was familiar. It was very colorful and bright, and it was actually nice for young girls. It was a little bit overpriced for them, though, if their parents had to do it, or their boyfriends had to do it. That's how I became familiar. But having said that, Kate had a very branded and nice business, and I could feel that from her. Now, when I feel her spirit, because again, when I heard that she passed, it was just like, oh, who cares? Like that was really my initial response. As I'm feeling her energy, I'm finding that I might have actually got along with her really well if we'd have known each other on this side. Funny thing to say, I was not a fan in her public sense, but in her death sense, I'm a huge fan. She's a strong woman. She doesn't take shit from anybody, and that's what she was waiting for on that day. She was waiting to talk to somebody because she had something to say. She had a very fiery disposition. I don't see it referenced in any picture I've seen of her. I see a very precise and marketed, almost Virgo-like presentation. I can only equate everything with astrology because first and foremost, I love astrology, but she strikes me like a very, very put together, polished person. So I don't really feel, when I look at her pictures, the energy underneath. But when she was sitting on the kitchen counter and I was getting that image, I could feel her. She's fiery. She does cuss. She's a strong woman. And she was so frustrated by the things that were going on around her that she didn't understand exactly why she was waiting that day. She was like, I'm waiting, why aren't they here? So I feel like somebody hadn't shown up on time, or they weren't doing things the way they should have been. They said, I'll be there at 2. They weren't there at 2. There's frustration connected to her. The other thing that I see around the situation is she has an issue with something that was going on with her husband. We know this. We heard that they were separated before. They did say that in the media. This is different. This is in reference to her daughter, and this is in reference to the husband's interaction with the daughter. My mind goes straight to that. I don't even want to go there with that, but that's where my mind goes. So there was some interaction between father and daughter that she just had come across, receive. I'm talking about a year and a half before she passed. This information or this visual or this feeling to me is something that I don't actually want to say exactly the way I want to say it, but it was part of the problem in their marriage, and he focused way too much of his attention on the daughter. She came to understand what that was about. It's almost as if she was like, I don't understand why you're not paying attention to me. And I'm talking as a woman, as a mother, as his sex partner, as his wife, why you're not paying attention to me. And then I flash right to her daughter, and there's an issue with that. Now, do I actually know to the extent of that issue? I'm kind of passing over that right now. The other thing that when I went from there to the daughter's room, I went straight to her brother-in-law. Now, there's a connection obviously between her husband and his brother, but the brother-in-law full well understands what I'm talking about in reference to this. There's family coercion around Kate Spade. So these people kind of had pushed her over in another corner and said, okay, we're going to work around her. It reminds me of a family where there's like 8 or 9 kids, and they take one kid and they push him out center to kind of manipulate mom and dad into doing what they want. It's almost as if there was this one person that was pushed over here so that Kate would respond the way they wanted her to by getting this person to interact with her. So she had a soft spot for her brother-in-law, and it was something that he was used. So there's family coercion, but it's coming from both sides of the family, hers and his. I am seeing that. So she was quite miserable for several years before she actually passed away. There was a miserable stance with her. She was not happy in her marriage, and she was not happy at the interaction between her husband and her daughter. And then she says, and this is very clear to me, why would I leave my daughter when that is an issue for me? So we all should be thinking about a mother who has an issue, who's sober. I don't care what they said about her drinking. I don't care how it was presented. I don't care what her problems were in the past. At the time of her passing, she was not medicated or drugged or drunk. That was not what was going on. She may, however, have been smoking cigarettes. Now, I don't know if that's going to cause you to lose your mind, but that's what I felt with her. So you ask yourself, and I'm going to ask you guys to ask yourself, and this is the question, and I'm now being posed questions. She's a very strong-willed girl. She was not unhappy, depressed, the way that they're implying. I'm not saying she wasn't depressed, and I'm not saying she wasn't struggling with things. She does seem to have a very nervous anxiety to her, where she gets nervous about things or she's pensive about them. It might just be that she's a perfectionist and wants them to work out, so she's going over and over what she's going to say and how she's going to say it. In any given conversation. I can believe that. But she was not like, oh my God, I want to kill myself. That bullshit. I'm saying bullshit. I'm getting that now. Bullshit. That's what I'm saying. If you disagree with me, you're fine to disagree with me, but this is what I'm picking up. I feel like if somebody has an issue with what's going on, and I'm getting a lot of coercion within both sides of the family, her husband's and hers, in reference to her. I feel like a lot of her business acumen, she's a very strong businesswoman, and she definitely had an idea. Her ideas were on spot. However, a lot of her ideas were piggybacked off of her husband's ideas that were piggybacked off her ideas. So they were very entwined in how they did the business from the beginning and on all the way through. And the decision for her to sell Kate Spade's business to be with her daughter was an actual decision that she made, and one of the few decisions that she made that wasn't coerced by the people around her. But once she made that decision, it became a big problem for her, because she then wanted a creative outlet in a different direction. And it feels like that's where the stagnation was, because there was a lot of manipulation about what that would be and how it would be represented. And I don't feel like she was going along with the program on that one. That one I don't feel like. And I have to check my watch because I've got 2 minutes, so I've got to finish this. I'm gonna have to do a video number 2 with this, but I wanted to get this out right now. This is the first part that I'm getting. I don't feel, though, that at that moment she was so distraught that she couldn't actually maneuver herself into a different position work-wise, start a different company. I don't feel that she had any feeling that she couldn't do that. What I feel is the family dynamic was the problem. It was the family dynamic and the manipulation she felt around the family. That's what I'm getting. And then she's furiously smoking this cigarette. I don't really know if she smoked or not. And you can't really hide cigarettes, but she keeps showing me that. But I wonder if that's like she was nervous and so she picked the habit up, or she just did it at certain times. It feels like that. Now, I can tell you, as I'm looking through where she's sitting, I'm watching her swing her legs like on a countertop, like, you swing your legs and her heels are on. And I am seeing and hearing footsteps come around the corner. They are not heels, they are male feet, or they are dressed like male shoes. So I am seeing that. Now I'm being shown the kitchen. I'm looking around the kitchen and I'm looking at the kitchen countertop where she is sitting on it. She is not surprised by this person. And here is something really, really strange. I'm not seeing his face. I'm seeing from the floor up, his face is covered. Now, yet she's not afraid, but yet she's swinging her legs faster. So I really am gonna have to come back and finish this video because I now have to go deal with my client. And my name is Sloan. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will be back when I'm done.